Hi y'all, we're into my shop. Today we're going to turn a fun project, a little multi-axis twig pot that looks something like this. I'll have a future video on the flowers. Let's get started. Alright, you're going to want to start with a block of wood. Let me center punch this thing so it'll make it easier for me to find the center. Okay. I'm going to start off with this block of wood, 3 inches by 6 inches, or 75 millimeter by 150. You know, whatever size you got could probably work. Here's the challenge. Ideally, it will be large enough that you will have room to be able to scribe a circle big enough for your normal jaws within that area to do that offset. If you've got a smaller set of jaws, you could use a smaller piece of wood, which is what I did on this first one I showed you. But the larger jaw set makes it a little bit easier. So you're going to, mark centers. Do that on both sides. Mark the center because we're going to turn that axis. Then you're going to use a compass set to half the diameter of the closed size of your normal jaws, like that. And then we're going to add that in a little bit later, but meanwhile we're going to go ahead and center punch that. Now, here's what this thing's going to look like. It's going to look like this. At least this is what I'm shooting for. I wouldn't have been able to easily draw this until I turned the first one and had a bit of a learning curve on it. First thing we're going to do is turn this round. You've seen me turn enough things round without me spending too much time on that, but you put it between centers, turn it at a reasonable speed, maybe 1500 RPM for this side, and turn it round. Once you've knocked the edges off, you want to go ahead and adjust your tool rest, get it a lot closer so you have a better tool support. Okay, my picture went away, so I don't have my dimensions, but that's okay. I know about what they want to look like. So first thing I want to do is I want to mark what the very bottom of this twig pot is likely to look like this. Then I'm going to come in here with probably a skew, I think, and make a V cut. I can change the shape, but I want to at least mark it. Remember with the skew, never back up. Be bold. Now we have the bottom defined, because we're not going to be able to get back to this because we're going to finish this in an offset mode. So the next thing I want to do is I want to cut a little curve down here, but actually it's going to be it's going to be somewhat concave because I think that's the design I want. So I'm going to pick up the cut there. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. And I'm going to get rid of a little of this waste wood here. Now I'm going to come in here with it straight on, with the bevel 90 degrees, bracing it with my finger. And I'm going to start it here a little earlier and practice. It's really, we're making, in effect, we're almost making a cove. When we make cove, we're going to drop the tool handle. And there we go. That's the shape I like. And while I've got it here, I need to go ahead and sand that. So I'll do that off the camera before we go to the next stage. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I want to be able to part down a ways on this. So to do that, I want a nice clean cut in there for finishing up later. So again, I'm going to come in there with this skew and just coming back maybe 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to get a channel down there. It's going to be easier hopefully to get a parting tool in there. Next thing I'm going to do, I want to add a little bit of a bead on this thing just because I can. So I'm going to make a rolling bead. I'm using my 3/8 inch detail gouge. Now I think I want to come in on this side a little bit. And that's all I need to do. Okay, for the next step, I'm going to go ahead and mount it in an offset, the axis, the center of the axis of where the chuck tenon is going to be. When we mark this one, I don't think I told you we need to mark it on the other side so we can get this nice and parallel. To do that, I want to go ahead and change Lathe centers. Get one that bites in a little bit better instead of acting like a wedge. So we're going to put that there. I'm going to put that there. And then visually going to check it to make sure it's running pretty close to the same axis. We're going to go ahead and back this up. Always spin your wood. We're going to tighten it up just a little bit, not too much. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put that chuck tenon on this new axis. So I'm going to do that using my beading and parting tool, and just come in with it like this. And slow speed down just a little bit. And I'm looking at the shadow line as I come in the appropriate distance for that chuck tenon, just less than 1/4 of an inch. And fasten the tailstock down. Now I can see the shadow line on the end. So I want to cut down to that shadow line, so I'm going to ease this in to where I've got the part started. And I'm going to go very gentle, very gentle. Get it down till I get that marking. So we're going to come down until it just clears that, and hopefully my measurement will be on the money. Incline it just slightly to make sure I get a nice clean shoulder, and that's close enough. Okay, now I'm going to turn around and mount it in the chuck. This is where the rest of the turning is going to come in, using our normal jaws. Whatever your normal jaws are, make the measurements fit. I don't know if I mentioned it, this is a piece of cherry. Most any kind of hardwood. Dry wood is more likely to be a success, as you won't get any cracks. I turned a nice one the other day, this one out of a piece of cherry, and it cracked because it was green. So dried wood works better. But you can practice on green wood. It's a lot easier to cut, a lot more fun. Okay. And we're going to bring up tailstock support. Oh yeah, right on the money, as it should be. Turn it around, tighten it up again. Alright, next. Okay, but again, make sure you're going to clear your tool rest. And now we're going to get ready for the top of the flower, so I'm just going to waste some wood. We can do that with a bowl gouge, we can do that with a spindle roughing gouge. Actually, I don't want to use a spindle roughing gouge because of that right there. I could use a spindle gouge, but I'd prefer a stronger 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and that's what I'm going to use. can see a shadow line. I'm not sure if y'all will be able to see it or not. So I cut down and reduce the wood as I get down to the top of the neck of the vase, and then I cut on the inside, chamfer it down to the center. You'll be able to see that here in a moment. And I kind of nip the corner there to kind of get a chamfer on that edge. Just coming on in, going down to the middle. Chamfer just a bit more. And there we go. That's a fairly pleasant shape. Next, I want to go ahead and drill. So you can use different size drill bits. I think 1/16 works for me. You could make it a little bit smaller, a little larger, depending on your project, your preferences. A little bit bigger, 3/8 might even be better for this particular project, because I want room to put a couple of flower stems that I'm going to turn. They're going to be an 1/8 of an inch with a little bit of feature, but I'm going to make do here. Now, I need to decide how deep I'm going. So I have the bottom here. I want to make sure I got plenty of room. And with the flowers, I don't need to go too deep on this. So basically, I'm going to go the full length of the drill, I think. And I'm going to slow the speed down below 1,000. Back it out just a little bit. And just lock the tool rest, the tailstock down, and just slowly spin it in. It starts squealing, time to pull it out. Never hurts to wax your drill bit. Beginning to squeal, pull it out before I get in trouble. If it was green wood, it'd be even worse, but I could tell it was still beginning to bind. Back up the quill a little bit, go in again. Squealing, pull it out one more time. I'm going to fast forward through this a little bit faster as I shape. Round over a little bit around the top. And then kind of do almost an OG shape as I come in and narrow down the neck. Mark where I think the top of it's going to be, so I need to come back a little bit. Again, using a half-inch bowl gouge or spindle gouge, not sure which, either one work fine. And just keep working it down. Come in from both sides, cutting downhill. Shape underneath the neck. Again, kind of an asymmetrical cove. Just come on down, come in the other direction. Now I'm going to take that total neck and divide it into thirds, and I want the lowest point to be at the about third way from the top. I think that's all I want to use the bowl gouge for. Now I can start refining the neck a little bit. There's the tool mark there. Just make sure you're aware that size hole you drill, so you don't make the inside bigger than the outside. The handle leaning forward, it's almost cutting like a skew. Okay, pick up that cut again. I don't know if that's a tool mark or the bar, or the change in color from hardwood to sapwood, which I think is what it is. You don't want to make this neck too thick. too thin. Sanding effort. Okay. Now let's look at it. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. I'm thinking maybe I'll put just a bit of an inset right here, but maybe not. I think I can make that neck just a bit thinner, but I don't know if there's any reason to. But now that I look at it, let me measure how thick it is. I may want to go back and drill a 3/8 inch hole to make it easier to get those wooden flowers I'm going to put in it. So that's, okay, got the 3/8 inch drill bit mounted. If I hadn't told you, you wouldn't even know I was re-drilling it, would you? Alright, I'm going to do a little sanding here. Important note. Find a way that you can sand without sanding away these very crisp details. If you need a little block of wood or a sanding stick, use that. But if you don't want to round over any of these sharp edges, because it's that detail that really catches people's eye. This is 4 times normal speed, but I'm parting down with a shop-made 1/8 inch parting tool. I want to get it down to about maybe no more than 1/4 inch, and then cut it down with this Japanese flush cut saw. This sure beats chasing around the shop. Easiest way to part it off. Okay, final product. That was fun. Next week I'm going to do a video on turning these flowers. If the link's not up here now, it'll be up there next week. Y'all stay safe. Come on back here.